Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, little technical difficulty here. I'm sorry about that. It's the TLV Sports Talk Show. We talk sports, we talk life, we make you visible in your home or on your phone. It's the TLV Sports Talk Show, taking life's vision. And that's what you have to do sometimes. You have to take that vision. When you have a vision, you got to take it. Sometimes it's not easy, but you can do it. And we have with us tonight, straight out of Trenton, New Jersey. That's right, founder and director for Gym Work Training, Deon Chu. But before he comes on and listen, we want, hey, listen, get, tell your family and friends to log on, get in the chat room. We're going to chop it up. We'll have two segments and we'll be here for about 30 minutes. So let everybody know what's going on. All right. And listen, this is the TLV Sports Talk Show. We talk sports, we talk life, we make you visible. Yeah, 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 yeah. Can you hear me now? There we go. We both unmuted. Deon Chu, straight out of Trenton, New Jersey, Gym Work Training, co-host tonight on the TLV Sports Talk Show. We're going to be talking about some really good things and be in two segments. First segment, we're going to talk. Deon Chu's got the mic. He's going to let you know just about everything that he had to go through from the very beginning. As you saw that clip there, that was the little bitties and the mid-range kids, and he's done far beyond that. And we're going to talk about that too. We're going to show you some clips or some pics of that. Deon is doing a great work in Trenton, New Jersey. Hey, the proof is in the pudding. You hear what I'm saying? The record speaks for itself. And he's doing a great work up there. Otherwise, hey, he wouldn't be on TLV Sports Talk Show. Believe me, ain't messing with no bums, no people that's out there trying to do things for their own good. So I tell you, I've known Deon over 20 years now. I remember he won a game. Hey, we took a team, Gil Vault and I, we took a team down to Willingboro, New Jersey, and it was a tournament. And we wound up in the championship with West Oak Lane, Philadelphia. Well, we had Julius Goss, we called him Juju, and we had another player who decided that he thought he was going to be the show, but Gil said, Gil said, look, Either you do like we tell you to do, or you just take shirt off and go on the other side. He took his shirt off. We said, "Go ahead. We don't need you. Go on over there." Well, they double up Juju because they have been watching us, throughout the tournament, and it looked like it was a tough spot. But let me tell you, Deon Chew took over. You hear what I said? He took over. We call out 1-4. Go to work, Chew. They couldn't stop him. He was too quick. He played defense. He was all over the court. He was like a crazy man. Guess what? We won that tournament. But if it wasn't for Deon Chew, we wouldn't have won that tournament. I'll never forget that. West Oak Lane, Philadelphia.
Yeah,
West
remember that.
they were tough. They was tough. So it's been years,
Hmm.
and I've seen you through the years and your accomplishments and things that you've done in the community.
Hmm.
Tell our people on the other side of the screen there just about how gym work got started. We're gonna open
Hmm.
up the chat room. Those who have comments, feel free. Hold on to them until Chew, finishes doing what he's doing, and feel free to talk. So talk to us about how gym work got started and just the whole 9 yards.
Hmm. All right. What's going on, Randy? Thanks for having me on your platform, man. Always appreciate you. How I started with gym work, the coaching and the training thing was freshman year of college. I had end up going to Newman University, is in between Delaware and like Pennsylvania, right on the end line. So I came home my freshman year, well, one summer, getting ready, preparing to go back. Then I actually came to my little brother game, Marcus, Marcus Keith, my little brother, and I did. It was a Trenton Power League, and I was watching him play, and I had been working with him since he was younger. So I'm watching, and I just didn't even watching both teams. I just didn't agree with how the coaches was coaching the kids. It was a lot of bad basketball going on. I saw him starting to pick up bad habits, and like I said, I was away for a year, so I'm like, all right, okay, let me get back to my little brother, get him back right. And then once I started working with him again, then I saw his progress the next game. I said, you know what? I think it may be time. This might be something I need to step into. Because, like I said, I didn't like the coaching on both sides. So I started with my little brother and people around his age. I'm always close to the neighborhood, so I knew the kids who was playing basketball. So I started training them first, just training a couple of them, in my backyard, wherever I could find a basket, a court, whatever. So make a long story short, so I started to build a team with the kids, the neighborhood kids, because there wasn't no like AAU travel basketball at this time. Everybody was sold in our area, Trenton area. Everybody was sold on the rec leagues, so no one was really like traveling at the time. There was a couple maybe township teams, but they would probably only allow maybe one or two kids from Trenton on the team, and that was it. So I just figured with a few friends of mine that we just started to, pretty much build the program. So I took kids, and the kids that I had at first was the kids that was like they was like JV players because all the varsity players pretty much was playing on the rec teams and other coaches had they hands on them and things like that. So I just went with the kids who wanted to play for me, and we went to work. So I just started developing them kids. We entered in a few rec leagues first, and they were just getting better. They just kept getting better. They kept getting better. And then some of the kids that saw that how much better the kids that I was coaching have gotten, they end up coming to me asking, can they play on the team? They didn't have any team to play on. Because at first I wouldn't take any kids that was on someone else's team. That's just not me. I'm just not into that. So if you was on someone else's team already, I would just say, no, go stick it out. You'll be fine. Just keep your head down and keep working. So I started my AAU teams like that. Like we just started to get the kids who wanted to play, and we went rolling, and we was traveling everywhere, all over any tournament we could find in Philly, North Jersey, New York, Virginia. We was everywhere. So I would have them kids everywhere playing against any and everybody. And that was the first group I had. It was my little brother. I think I had Quaheem Smith for a little while. Uh, I can't believe I can't remember their names, but that group, that Nick Wilson, Isaiah Linton, it was that crew. I had that crew, and a bunch of other kids. Anthony McLean, he was younger than them, but we had him. He was the 6'9" kid. He was a freshman, 6'9", playing for Trenton High, and he didn't come off the bench on the freshman team. This kid was 6'9", 13 years old. I was like, you know what? You can't teach height. I was like, come on, big fella, come on with us. And, look, he was a project. He's probably listening. He's tuning in now. He knows his story. He was a project. It was hard for him to even get up and down the court. He couldn't make layups. He couldn't dunk at the time. But what we would do is we would play him in spurts. So we'd start him, play him for a good 2-3 minutes, give him a rest, get him back in. Because you can't teach 6'9", especially not in 9th and 10th grade. So he was our big fella. And like I said, he couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time. But his story now is, like I said, he done, from that point, he went to that freshman team where he didn't get in. By the time his senior year, he was top 40 in the country. And he was All-American. He was top 40 in the country. He had offers from everybody: Kansas, UConn, Georgetown, Cincinnati. Like, everybody in the country wanted him from that span, from his freshman year to his senior year. He ended up being top 40 in the country. And this is a kid who couldn't get off the bench as a freshman.
Wow. Yo, that's a pretty good journey, beginning of the journey there. And
Mm-hmm.
tell everybody on the other side of the screen here,
Mm-hmm.
uh, just how you accomplished in getting because you can't train everybody by yourself. You'll be worn out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did you get your coaches, and were you extremely selective in getting your coaches?
Very selective. Very selective. To this day, very selective. You have to have a certain, character about yourself, because you're going to be around kids. You're going to be around, parents, and we want to make good examples for the kids. So I'm very selective. Like, your basketball knowledge has to be, at a certain level. Your character, who you are. I don't judge anyone. Whatever you've been through, you've been through. But to me, I pretty much know everybody that's from our area, so I kind of know who's who. And but yeah, I'm very selective in that who coaches with me. A lot of the time, it kind of be family, close guys that I maybe play basketball with, grew up with. But I have no problems with having outsiders as well. But like I said, I judge you in, let's say, if I'm at a tournament or I'm at a league, rec league. I'm watching you, how you interact with the kids, how you interact with the families, parents, community, all that. Like, I don't just right from the back go straight at someone, or if they come to me, I watch them in that element first to see what type of character they have.
And what was it like to uh, to get a facility so you could
Oh, whew,
have your player development? Because
that's
it's not
another
always
story.
easy. That's another story. Well, let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely hard. That is the probably the number one reason why a lot of especially my programs didn't flourish, where they could have. It's very hard to find practicing. Most of the time, I have to wait till the weather breaks so I can practice outside. I done went through every avenue I could to try to get gyms in our area. I end up actually having to get gyms outside our area very easily before I can get any gym in our area. A lot of times when I did have gyms, it would be through, like I said, someone I grew up with and know what type of person I am. They will, do a favor, or they play, we play basketball together or whatever. Went to school, they would do a favor and allow me to use the gym on certain days. But to be honest with you, it seemed like every time someone would find out that I'm in the gym or I got the gym, some powers that be will figure out a way to exit out, and then we won't be able to use the gym. Like,
Well,
this TLV TV, so we got to keep it real here.
yeah, we're going to do that. That's for sure. We're definitely going to do that. And actually, we're going to be talking about that in the second,
Hmm.
our next segue,
Hmm.
uh, um, in which we've entitled it "Stolen Moments in Time."
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
see, stolen
Got a
moments
lot of
in
those.
time. So we're not going to address that right now, but
Hmm.
so we see that you've had coaches that you've selected,
Hmm.
and tell the people on the other side of the screen what the kids' parents had to pay for your player development as far as financial costs.
Mhm. My financial costs, I pretty much keep it on the low side because of the area I'm in. I have how I do it is I break it down into groups and individual. So my group sessions are $25 for the little biddies and $35 for middle school and high school and up. That's for group sessions. Like that's big group. There's no set numbers of people who can be there. Whoever's there, that's the group we're working with. And then I have like a small group, which is about maybe $55, I think. I have it up on my website, gymworktraining.com. And individual one-on-one, that is a little different. That is a little more expensive because I'm giving you a whole hour of my time to focus on you and your development. So that one is off the top. To be honest with you, I kind of deal with it as far as case by case basis. So that one, I don't want to put that one out there. I always try to, if they contact me individually, I work some out with them.
Wonderful. Well, the proof, like I always say, is in the pudding. And for those of you who are just tuning in, when we first came on the broadcast, we had a clip of the little individuals, the age group. What age group was that, Deon?
Yeah, that was the biddies. That was probably ages from third grade to fifth or sixth grade at that time. It was all the little biddies. Some of them kids 8 years old, some be seven. Because I usually start at 7 years old as far as the kids being able to join the group sessions. But case by case basis, again, if your kid is 5 or 6 and they ready, I put them in the fire. I get them. I put them in the fire.
All right, for the sake of time, and we're going to have two segments, and so we don't want to run over for
Hmm.
the next segment.
Hmm.
Um, Here's some of the individuals that have been affiliated with gym work training, either through one way or another. Couldn't get everybody, but we got, I hope we didn't leave anybody out that they feel
Hmm.
offended, but we couldn't get
Hmm.
everybody. But we're going to take one person at a time, and then you can tell those on the other side of the screen
Hmm.
who they are, where they came from,
Hmm.
and their accomplishments in
Hmm.
dealing with gym work. Here we go.
Okay.
Who's this
Trey
individual?
Lowe. Trey Lowe. Yeah, Trey Lowe, man, one of the greats, man, one of the greats from our area. I started coaching Trey Lowe when he was. I had the AAU team. I think they was in third grade, third, fourth grade, something like that. And I had him on that team, and he was one of the. Oh man, Trey was always ready to go. He was on that team, and we had a few other local players too. Herbie Ellis, James Wright. Uh, it was a bunch of them. I know they're gonna get mad at me. I ain't mention all of them, but like you said, we can't mention all of them. But yeah, I coached Trey, man, for like 2 years, I think, and that team was, man. It's like actually Trey came. He wasn't on the team originally. He came in, but once he came in, he solidified that roster. Like I used to put Trey at the top of the 3-2 or the top of the press. Man, it was lights out. They couldn't get the ball up the court, and Trey ain't missing no layups. he not missing no opportunities to score. Not at all, man. Shout out to his dad, Sam Lowe, for giving me that
Sammy
opportunity.
Lowe. Sammy Lowe,
Hmm.
who played at, I believe he played, it was at Trenton State at the time. I don't think it was
Hmm.
College of New Jersey. And he definitely, Trey comes from a DNA of athletes.
Hmm.
Dad
Hmm.
was a good athlete and a good ball player. Trey Lowe, right now, I believe, isn't he unrestricted or didn't he undrafted? He signed into the draft for the NBA, didn't he?
I think so because I think
I
his
believe.
his his eligibility was up, and I think he might have did. I'm not
I,
sure.
I know for a fact he did. At least it was written,
Hmm.
it was documented because before we come on the air, we're going to do our homework. Trey Lowe is a fine young man and he's coachable. I
Very
watched
coachable.
I watched him play at the Rick Run, and man, oh man, he had 17 points, and you didn't even know he was in the game because
Right.
he let the game come to him.
Hmm.
I said, man,
Hmm.
this kid. This kid, and I interviewed him and I talked to him and his dad. I said, Sammy, this kid's gonna, it's not gonna be. He's better than you right
Hmm.
now.
Hmm.
He's really, and that's not to put Sammy down. Sammy was a great ball. He was a good ball
Right.
player. But Trelo, I loved his attitude. I just loved his demeanor. All right, so that's Trelo. He played at Temple, and his ambition is to go to the NBA or go overseas
Hmm.
to be a professional. Let's see about this individual here. Who's this individual?
Mr. Franz, Mr. Franz Massenet. Oh man, Franz. I remember his dad used to play basketball with us back in the WNC program. So his dad used to bring Franz. He used to bring with him. He like 5 years old. He'd work him out first. Then we'd play, and Franz would still be on the other court, one of the side courts, still putting up shots. Man, Franz, we knew Franz was going to be one of our greats. 10 at 5 years old when we first met him. Like Franz was very, very, very coachable, great role model to the kids. I always give him props on that for the kids who come up after him. Franz is an excellent role model.
Indeed. I remember when Franz used to come to our barbershop and get a haircut. And after he had a haircut, we make him do at least 10 or 20 push-ups. He was a skinny little kid. He was come out Moody
Hmm.
Park, and I used to play one-on-one with him. And I say, you got to learn how to go to your right. I'm pushing you
Yeah.
to your right. You know, he would be laughing at me. I said, it ain't funny. It ain't funny out here. And we just have a blast, man. He was such a good little kid. And then when I moved away and went to Atlanta for a few years, I came back and I went to a game over at Mercer County College,
Hmm.
and he was playing at TCA. And his dad brought him to me, and I like, who is this? I
Hmm.
didn't even
Hmm.
recognize him. Yo, I mean,
He
just
shot
just
up.
he shot up, and I'm telling you, Franz Massenet is a young man that I could say, yeah, you can marry my daughter. I'll put it
Right,
to you that.
right, right,
You know, you can
right.
marry my daughter. A great kid. You know, when you play for Bruiser at Drexel, he's tough because Bruiser played on Temple when he was on that championship team with
Hmm.
Derek Brantley and what's his name? He was the coach there for a while. I played with the 76ers. Can't think of his name right now. I can starts with an A. Uh, but anyway, Bruce is tough. I mean,
Yeah, very tough
tough.
coach.
He look. If you could play for him, you could play for
Hmm.
anybody because he was hard on you. And I seen France respond to him at the Ryder game,
Hmm.
and France all he did was just say, "Yep, okay,
Hmm.
okay." France went back in there because Ryder was up ahead on Drexel, and we was just waiting for France to take over, and we like, yo, did he just shoot that with his right hand going to the hole?
Hmm.
Like we didn't know he
Hmm.
had a right hand. He just
Hmm.
took over then quietly. He's like, he was a quiet individual. Like he never wanted to shine or anything like that.
Right,
But he
right.
had all the skills and the ability. Great young man playing overseas right now. Much kudos to France Massenet. Let's see, we
Yes.
got somebody. We got somebody else that I don't know personally too much about because I think when I was away, he was shooting up, and then when I just came back, I wasn't in the Trenton area. But tell us about this young man.
Ah, the sniper, Mr. Malachi Richardson, man. Oh, that kid had a pro jump shot. Let me tell you, he had a pro jump shot at maybe 11, 12 years old. The kid just couldn't miss. But his form, his technique, his IQ was so high at a young age. When his mom first brought, I think he played for me in the Trenton Power League, and then we just went from there. But in his work ethic, he'd be in the gym with you 3 hours, and you won't even know it. Like with this kid, he had a pro jump shot at 12 years old. Very special kid.
And he's playing overseas right now, right?
Yes, he's playing overseas. Last he was in Italy, I think. But yeah, he's playing overseas right now. And special kid, man. I just remember running plays, him coming off screens, and it was a guaranteed bucket every time. I knew when we needed a three, we calling that play. We calling his number, and
Well,
and it's good. It's automatic.
well, let me ask you this: wasn't he the Player of the Year in New Jersey, or didn't he get
Yeah,
the?
yeah. He was
Can't.
Player of the Year, New Jersey, McDonald All American.
Hmm.
Um, Drafted what 22, I think it was 22, 23.
All right,
Um, yeah.
another product. See, this is what I'm talking about, folks. The proof is in the pudding. The record speaks for itself, and that's all I'm going to say about it. You know, you judge the fruit or from the tree. Okay,
Hmm.
simple as that. All right, we got one more person. Although there's others, but we'll be
Right.
here. We'll be here
We'll be here
all
all
night.
night.
We'll be here all night.
We'll be here all
But this
night.
is this the other person that I knew when he was a little kid. I mean, he was a little. I knew him like Franz Massenet. All right.
Right. Right. Oh, Miles Powell. I call him my nephew because I remember I was dealing with Miles when he was like 5, 6 years old. He used to be come to my house, spending the night, run around my son and them, like my son Malachi and all them when they used to come to my house, cook, all of them. He'd be running behind. He was a few years younger than them. He'd be running around chasing them, just keeping up. Man, that kid, special kid, man, Miles is a scorer, pure. Like I never seen anyone like Miles. He been a scorer since he was young. Like he been able to score the ball since probably since five, probably since
Yes.
5. And Miles, man, I love that kid. Uh, Always respectful. Every time he comes home, just like the rest of them, they call me. They want to get in the gym. We get in the gym, and man, great kid. And he deserved. He just signed with the Knicks. He deserved everything he got coming to him, man, because he worked his tail off for it. He's a hard worker.
Another product from Gym Work Training, Trenton, New
Hmm.
Jersey. Deon Chu, founder director. Okay. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But I'm also going to say Miles Powell, he comes from another family that
Hmm.
is in the DNA because I knew his dad, but
Hmm.
his dad is like 5'10" and could put his elbow in the rim. All right. Left-handed bandit. I mean,
Hmm.
he had bounce. But let me tell you, he couldn't shoot the ball like Miles Powell.
Yeah, Miles special.
Miles
Miles
is
is special
special. He learns how to play that point guard. He's going to have a job in the NBA for
for
quite a
sure.
while because
Hmm.
it's an adjustment, and
Hmm.
uh, and he's going to have to work hard. Look, you parents that's watching this, you get in the gym with gym work training. Dion is not going to like let you take your shoes off and just
Hmm.
loaf around. It's going to be hard work. If you want something, you got
Hmm.
to do something. And this is the product right here. You know, it is what it is, folks. And so there's a good thing that's going on in Trenton, New Jersey, as far as player development basketball. And it's not just about sports. They teach you how to have a better quality of life and
Hmm.
to get
Hmm.
your education. See, education outweighs it all. That's what
Yeah.
Poppy Sanderson said.
Hmm.
Education outweighs it all. So, we live by that motto, and we have people who have come before us that we look up to. I came up in the era of Howie Lander from Mercer County Community College. Howie Lander was a tough coach. He made you do the things that you didn't want to do. I wish hindsight's 2020. My life is what it was. But if I'd have played for Howie Lander, I'd have been a much better person at that time, not only a better ball player. And at that time, this was in the 60s, he was coaching Trenton Junior College, which is now Edison College. And then from there, he went over to Mercer County Community College, which was built over there in is that Hamilton? Isn't Mercer County Community College? That's it. That's
Uh,
considered,
eh,
that's considered
uh,
Hamilton or
I
Windsor?
think it's we at Windsor. I think it's West
That's
Windsor.
West Windsor,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but now we have a new era, and there's no
Hmm.
excuse because you have player developments, people who really care about your kids, such as Deon Chu,
Hmm.
and to teach them and guide them through the process and let them know it's not easy because they've been there. You know,
Hmm.
Chu, you've been there. You know what it's all
Hmm.
about, and you're helping the kids a long way. So these are the people right here. I mean, come on, man. It doesn't get much sweeter than that. And that's only a few of the people. Well, look,
Yeah.
you've been watching so far on the other side of the screen, the TLV Sports Talk Show. Don't go nowhere because you know what we got coming up next? Hmm. Huh. Moments that
Uh-oh.
was stolen.
Hmm.
Stolen moments in time. This is the
Hmm.
TLV Sports Talk Show. We talk sports, we talk life, we make you visible. Don't go nowhere. Keep it locked in. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Those of you who have been with us, you know this is Deon Chu. He's with us tonight, and he's the co-host. And for those of you that are just joining on, you can catch the beginning of the program on Facebook at Randy B Ball, Facebook or TLV Sports Talk Show, and we're going to share it to Deon Chu's Facebook site. Deon Chu has all this information here where you can contact him.
Hmm.
Uh, Let me put this on the screen here so people know just where to contact you. We see
Hmm.
Deon Chu, Trenton, New Jersey, founder director, Gym Work Training at gymworktraining5 at gmail.com. Facebook, Gym Work Training AAU. Facebook, Deon Chu, Gym Work Training Home. And then we have the website, as you can see, the HTTP, and it's gymworktraining.com/. So there it is. Contact him. I'm quite sure he's moving and grooving. I believe his workout sessions are Tuesday and Saturday. They still have it that way, Deon?
Yeah, it's been that way for a while. Only the pandemic kind of stopped it because the gym use. But yeah, Tuesdays and Saturdays are the big group sessions.
Well, that's the real dilly there, and just sign on and sign up and get with Deon. Well, look, this segment here we're going to be talking about stolen moments in time. Stolen moments in time. All of us at one time or another had something that was stolen from us, and Chu is going to talk to us about his encounter with stolen moments. But before he does, all right, I want to read something to you. All right. Just
Hmm.
as a segue, just as a segue into what you're going to be talking about. All right. Thank you, Derek Allen. We appreciate you watching. And we hope that you share this broadcast with many others. Talking about stolen moments in time. Okay. Okay. How African American land was stolen in the 20th century. All right. I'm going to read something to you. This is not something I'm making out of my head. All right. Here's a short version of the history at the time of Emancipation Union. General William Sherman declared that 400,000 acres formerly held by Confederates be given to African Americans. His order came to be known as the promise of 40 acres and a mule. Hmm. And but newly established Freedmen's Bureau was never able to control enough land to fulfill this promise. In 1866, Congress passed the Southern Homestead Act, opening up 46 million acres across the public in the land of southern states for Union supporters and freed slaves. Freed slaves, emancipated, but not free. There's a difference. The land was uncultivated land, uncultivated forests, and swamp. Okay, and if those of you who haven't seen that movie, uh, Mudbound, I encourage you to see that movie, Mudbound. It's talking about what we're talking about right here now. Mudbound is powerful. Mary J. Blige is in it. She does a wonderful thing. You say Mary J. Blige? Yeah, she was awesome. Mudbound. Check that movie out. So, Southern bureaucrats made it difficult for blacks to access any land, and Southern whites used violence to prevent blacks from occupying the land. Talking about stolen moments in time. This is the TLV Sports Talk Show. We talk sports, we talk life, we make you visible. We're here with Deon Chu, founder, director of Gym Work Training in Trenton, New Jersey. So, within 6 months, the land was opened to former rebels. In 1876, the law was repealed. The much more extensive Homestead Act of 1862 granted 160 acres of government land in the West to any American who applied and worked the land for 5 years. Over the course of the next 60 years, 246 million acres of Western land, the area of California plus Texas, was given to individuals for free. About 1.5 million families were given a crucial economical foundation. Only about 5,000 out of the 1.5 million, only about 5,000 African Americans benefit. Listen to this. Despite obstacles, many black families acquired farmland by World War I. There were nearly 1 million black farms in 1920. 1 million black farms in 1920, and about 1/7 of all farms, mostly in the South. During the 20th century, nearly all of this land was taken or destroyed by whites. Now, we're not here to bash anybody. We're just here to give you history. We're talking about stolen moments in time. So during the 20th century, nearly all of this land was taken or destroyed by whites. Sometimes it's happened by violent actions, mob actions, as in Tulsa, Oklahoma, documented in 1921, or the lesser known program in Pierce City, Missouri in 1901, when the entire black community of 300 was driven from town. A map shows many of the hundreds of these incited incidents of white collective violence. Talking about stolen moments in time. Concentrated in the South, many of the thousands of lynchings were directed as black farmers in order to terrorize all blacks and make them leave. All right, so we're talking about moments in time that was stolen. All right, let's listen. What else do we have to talk about as far as moments in time that was stolen? Got something else here. You might find this to be kind of heavy. And then Deon, you're going to just come right on in and talk
Mm-hmm.
about your experience stolen moments in time.
Mm-hmm.
We're giving a little history here, a little eye opener here. What buck breaking and sagging pants have in common? What is buck breaking? In essence, buck breaking occurred when an angry American slave master thought a slave was being defiant and needed to be taught a lesson. Hence, the African male slave would be forced to lower his pants and bend forward over a tree stump, or similar protrusion, with his buttocks propped up in the air. The American slave master and or someone he'd appoint to carry out an ensuing inhumane act would then proceed to flog the slave almost to a state of unconsciousness. Circumstances would then get worse for the slave, as the slave master, whom likely was driven by homosexual urges, would then proceed to rape the slave in front of his wife, his kids, his friends, while inviting other white homosexual males to join in on the heinous sodomy act. It was the ultimate emasculation of African males, slaves, for being defiant toward his white slave masters. According to Buck breaking was an ungodly, evil disciplinary tool employed to strike fear into the hearts of the African American male slave, his family, peers, and community alike, in that they were never challenged their slave masters on any level. Often, African male slaves who endured such brutality and humiliation would commit suicide or abandon their families altogether. Now, this is not to say that it's not going on right now. This is happening right now, but it's happening in another form. There is a modern day slavery and there's a plantation. Buck breaking and saggy pants, and those who are on the plantation, I'm going to say it, those who are in the NBA, they working for the slave master. Yes, they are. And the slave master makes sure that if you say anything, they're going to put fear in you and they're going to make an example out of you. And so it's very demoralizing. You see a lot of NBA players, along with NFL players, that don't really look like men. They walk around like women. And there's a lot of things that's going on behind the doors. So we don't want this kind of image talking about stolen moments in time where our youth see this and they emulate this because they don't even know what saggy pants is all about. They don't even know dropping your pants down and they don't know about what buck breaking is. They don't understand the dynamics of modern day slavery and being on the plantation. And if anybody says anything, okay, that's in this type of atmosphere, they'll be taught a lesson. See what it did. What it did. Those of you on the other side of the screen, and Deon, it demoralized and it broke down the self-esteem, low self-esteem. Whatever we do to steal your self-esteem, that's what we'll do. Talking about stolen moments in time. This is not my conspiracy or anything. It's an actual fact. Now, I just want to ask you this question: did Colonel Sanders steal the KFC original recipe from a black woman named Miss Childress? Just a question. Just a question. Something to think about. Okay, talking about stolen moments in time. All right, and then Deon is going to come in and he's going to tell you about his stolen moments in time. And the last thing I want to point out: in 1976, August the 5th, the NBA merges with the ABA. The NBA merges with the ABA. Now, the NBA, some of you don't even remember. You weren't even around in 1976. The NBA, when it first started up, you couldn't come down the court, look one way, and pass the other. You couldn't. You could not even do crazy dunks. I remember I grew up with Billy Cunningham, white gentleman who's much older now. He's probably the same age I am. He's 70 some years old. And they called him the Kangaroo Kid. He had hops. Okay, he could play. He played down in the original Rucker tournament. But when he got in the NBA, he wasn't allowed to do all this shenanigans that they called it. All right. It wasn't until the NBA merged with the ABA. So what happened when that took place? The ABA had players like Dr. J, very athletic, Dr. K, the Iceman, Irving, George Irving. Is his name George Irving? Yes, the Iceman. And they had more athletic players and they had more black players in the ABA than they did in the NBA. Talking about stolen moments in time. So what they did, because they were starting to get so much of an audience, because the game was much faster. They had the 3-point line. They had the dunk contests. They had cheerleaders and they hyped it up. They had everything going on. So what did the NBA do? They made it so that they couldn't get on TV like the NBA. They cut their airtime. They couldn't get visibility. They made sure that things wasn't really well for them. And what they did is they merged the ABA with the NBA and brought ABA players over to the NBA, talking about stolen moments in time. And so we've had like a little lesson here about stolen moments in time. I know when I was in high school, I had a lot of stolen moments in time. What say you, Director Deon Chu? How about your stolen moments in time?
Man, I could bring. I have so many. I'm gonna bring up one that's very recent, and it kind of touched on what the players we spoke about, because of the lack of gym facilities in the area, support in the area, where we could build a program, me, myself, and whoever else, where we could build a strong home program. Where imagine having a team of Malachi, Trey Lowe, Charles Cook, Miles Powell, Davon Reed, AJ Sumbry, Derek Woods, Cam Jones. I could just keep going. Josh Williams, but even my son, Nazir Chu. Like, imagine having a team that strong, representing where we from, Trenton, Mercer County, whatever, how you want to put it. And that's not even naming everyone, because most of the kids that have came through our area, I probably coached to train and still mentor to this day. And imagine that we can have a strong coaching staff. I see Cave is in here. We can have me, Cave, Deon Haynes, just a bunch of us. We could be coaching in these programs with these kids that's from our area. But the more we continue to lose those moments, because through the years I had a bunch of kids that could have been on one team and been a powerhouse. A lot of these kids that I just named was powerhouses on other people programs from other areas. They was the best player on those teams. All those kids was from our area. So imagine just, and we just saying just lack of gym time. Give us a facility to use, some support. If you got resources, help us with that. And those teams can bring so much resources to the town, to our city, and to help build it even more. Because these kids, as you see, are excellent kids, great players, and they all could have been on one team representing our city, our town, our area, county, whatever you want to say. And it just it upsets me because it's just a lack of support, lack of opening gyms, the plenty of gyms that we have around here, and some people just maybe stepping out of the way from, trying to take kids from players, uh, and we could just build. That's not even counting if you add South Jersey to the mix. If you add, like we can get one team, and this could be. And by that, if we'd have started years ago, who knows what the program could have been by the time we got kids like Malachi, Trey Lowe, and them all on one team. It just upsets me, man. And all it is just gym time and lack of support.
I'm loving it because you don't know what I have for the next portion of this segue. You
Hmm.
you haven't we haven't talked about this. Have we
Nah,
talked about
no,
this? No.
nah. We up here talking like we usually do, freestyle.
Okay, that's what we do. Listen, everything that I read to you that's been documented. The
Hmm.
plantation, the modern day plantation,
Hmm.
plantation of old, it still is in effect because of the mindset.
Hmm.
Because of the mindset. Now, here's the deal. Talking about stolen moments in time. You just said it. What happens is, what is stolen is the connection and the ability to work with each other. The
Exactly.
ability, which we have, but they make sure, and it's no excuse. We shouldn't feed into that. Talking about stolen moments in time, we should always strive to work together. You have a program, I have a program. You have
Hmm.
a platform, I have a platform. So
Hmm.
you bring me on your platform, I bring you in on my platform.
Hmm.
And we build the platforms up and we bring everybody in together with the same common bond. Okay. But what the enemy does, really, what happens in the modern day slavery with the you know, the mind thought
Hmm.
is to break everybody apart. What did they do?
Hmm.
They put you up against a tree and demoralize you by actually having sex in front of your family and your friends. And in some cases, that slave committed suicide. Well, maybe you don't commit suicide today, but it drives you crazy and it makes you say, you know what? I give up. I'm not going to deal with this because I can't deal with what's taking place. But I say, keep going forward because the proof, and I'm going to look in the camera and I'm going to tell you, the proof is in the pudding. Gym work training has developed fruit for the next generation in an
Hmm.
atmosphere, where there's jealousy,
Hmm.
there's backbiting, and there's people who are trying to put you up against that tree. That's right, to lower
Hmm.
your pants so
Hmm.
they can but do what they have to do to bring you down. Now, also, the whole concept of it is to form a mistrust where
Hmm.
you can't trust one another. I don't trust him, and so when there's a mistrust, there is. I wrote it down here. There is jealousy. Okay, and when there's jealousy, you work against one another. So
Hmm.
not only that, what it does, there's plagiarism. I'm going to get in with you,
Hmm.
just to build up my program by being with you, and
Mhm.
then I'll build my program up and I see you later. That
Mhm.
individual you shouldn't deal with, because if a person can't be a part of your program and vice versa, and you all don't work together in the same platform, then that person is not really for real.
Mhm.
And that is part of the modern day slavery thinking in the mind to keep black communities where you
Mhm.
can't work together.
Mhm.
Well, I'll steal from you. Oh, and then when they steal from you, they don't give credit, where they got the information from. They don't say, "Oh, Deon
Mhm.
Chu." I learned this from Deon Chu. Man, he's
Mhm.
doing some good things there. They take it on like it's all theirs.
Mhm. Mhm.
They watch out for those. You know what?
I didn't experience that already. Man, I ain't even gonna go into that. I didn't experience that with so many people, man. Because that's how I am. I'm all for let's connecting together, man. Let's put our resources together. You got resources I don't have. I have resources you don't have. We put them together and we just build and add. I'm all for that. I've been trying to. I ain't even gonna go there, Randy.
Because you know what we've been talking about is the truth. It's
Yes.
the truth. No big eyes, no little me's. What
Mhm.
is the mission? The mission is the future of the next generation. And
Mhm.
that's what they're missing. Not about self and reputation. It's
Mhm.
about kids like who are adults now. Trey Lowe, Miles Powell, Malachi Richardson, Franz Massenet, and
Mhm.
others. We
Mhm.
didn't put Derek Woods on there. I mean, we
Mhm.
could have put a lot of kids that's come through gym
Yeah.
work training, and the proof is in the pudding. The
Mhm.
record speaks for itself, folks. So that's what I'm saying. Go where there's good ground. Go where
Mhm.
there's good ground, and not a bunch. Somebody told me, "Oh, competition is good." Yes, competition is good. But you know what? Back in the day when we came out on the court, we knew who the cheaters was going to be out on that court. And when they came on the court, when they came on, we knew they were going to cheat.
Mhm.
So we said, look, let's get them off the court quick, like. And how we did it, we called out every time you made a bucket. 14, 16. 16s in New York, we went by twos. Or
Mhm.
wherever you are, you want to go by ones. You had to call a score out every time you made a basket.
Mhm.
Both
Mhm.
ends. Otherwise, they get you into an argument. You start forgetting about the score. They're going to cheat on the score. We know who they were. Get off the court. Get off the court. We don't want you on here. So you have to
True.
recognize.
Very true.
And we had the saying, if you can't beat them, cheat them. They knew they
Mhm.
couldn't beat us. So they had to try to cheat us. Yes, we were competitive. Competition is good. But when you start to cheat and you do things that's backstabbing, that's not good.
Mm-mm. Not
That's
at all.
not good. I'm talking to you on the other side of this screen. So we've been talking some really cool moments, stolen moments in time with Deon Chu. We talked about the people that he's brought along the way, and he's still bringing on the little kids,
Mhm.
and he's going forward. He ain't done yet.
Mm-mm.
He's just getting started. He's just
For
getting.
real.
It's been really real, and you know what? We look forward to the next uh, time that you come on the TLV Sports
Mhm.
Talk Show. You could talk about some more kids that come along the way. That
Mhm.
come along the way. You know what I mean? That you brought up through your program. It's been
Mhm.
really real. And I always say this: don't let them steal your moment. Don't let them steal your moment in time, man. Keep going on, doing what you do. I'm real proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
yes, sir. So you've been watching the TLV Sports Talk Show. One more time. This is Deon Chu, founder, director, Gym Work Training, Trenton, New Jersey. So in the meantime, in between time, everybody knows the deal. We off like a dirty shirt. Put it in the book.